Okay, test, check. Oh yeah, hello everybody. I am Passport Advance, and today I would like to share a honest account of our trip to Darjeeling and Gangtok. And I'm going to record this video in English so foreign tourists can understand. So please share it with as many foreigners as you know who want to come to India. And I'm going to try using language that's both legally acceptable, and it follows the YouTube community guidelines. For assistance, I've asked ChatGPT, and I also gave it this skeleton of the video, how it should work, and I will prove as much as detail. And we have had some traumatic experiences that might lead to me getting angry a bit, because again, it's traumatic experiences, they cause rage. So yeah, let's get out of the picture and continue. So while we had a really amazing time in Gangtok, our entire trip in Darjeeling was nothing short of horrendous, traumatizingly horrendous, like a nightmare that won't leave you. It is so bad, and it's not even good. It's made me completely lose faith in India as a country, and I cannot see any hope for this country, even though I was originally born in this country. I have never felt so detached from India as much as I did when I visited Darjeeling. So first, we went to Darjeeling, which is a place known for its scenic beauty, and its location is a beautiful hill station in the Himalayas. Or as so we thought. We entered New Jalpaiguri and went by taxi to our Hotel Central Heritage Resort. Our taxi driver, who I will name Mr. AR Taximan. So AR Taximan here was kind of a rash driver, kind of noisy, and he was a bit strange. He made a lot of noise along the way. So AR Taximan made a lot of noise. So luckily, and he did not know where our hotel was located. He did not know where our hotel was located. He kept driving us to the wrong area here and there. So he didn't even know where to go. AR Taximan in the hotel sent him. He didn't even know where the hotel was. It's so funny. He didn't even know where it was. So we entered the hotel. And because, Indian Railways has this big problem where if a train is cancelled, they will tell you only at the day the train is going to depart. Not 1 week before, not 2-3 weeks before, which can allow for ample time to adjust the train, adjust the plan, adjust everything. No, they tell you exactly on the day, and at that moment our trip was completely ruined. The original plan I had was completely screwed, and I accidentally canceled my old booking. And the hotel, which was a Central Heritage Resort, formerly ITC, they took all of our money and are not apparently giving it back. I'm not sure, but apparently it seems like that. And I will give constructive feedback to the hotel, but first I want to express my experience at the hotel. So first of all, the hotel was not at all good. The rooms were extremely stinky, and the flush did not function. So if I were to, do my toilet thing and I flushed, it wouldn't work. The waste would still be there, and it was hideous to look at. So I had to call the people who are involved in maintaining the toilets and all to get them to fix it, manually flush. But and the staff, they were so rude. They were extremely abusive and used a lot of profane language and foul language towards my mother. Remember, mothers and women in general are gods. Your mom is a god. If you trash talk a mom, you are trash talking God. And you better not expect me to forgive you for that. So that hotel, I'm telling you, I'm not forgiving you for the stuff did to my mom. Because mothers are God. The foreign tourists, they disrespected my mom, they might disrespect your mom too. And yeah, mom for God. So The food was so average. It wasn't anything right home about. But we really didn't like our time there. And we booked a hotel through Agoda, which they tried their best, but the hotel was uncooperative. So they gave up, and so did we give up. We then took a taxi to Gangtok after my dad unfortunately extended the trip and made us stay for 5 days in Gangtok and 5 days in Darjeeling. Something which me and my mother do not to this day like. Yeah, I'm sorry to my father. I just want to talk about cooperation between family members and all. The reason why we would not enjoy these 10 days and 5 days in Gangtok and 5 days in Darjeeling are as follows. Now, first 5 days coming. We are at Gangtok for 5 days. We stayed at a hotel called Gangtok Heritage Resort. The hotel is very beautiful. The rooms are very wide. They're very beautifully made, wood and everywhere. The toilets work as expected, and guess what? There was one other problem with Central Heritage Resort that I forgot to tell you. Hot water only comes for a few hours, and then the rest of the day there's no hot water. Hot water is only for a few moments, and it's gone. It was so hectic for me and my I will tell you guys, avoid that hotel like you avoid the plague. But Gangtok Heritage, everything worked. The staff, they were so friendly. They treated my mother just like you would treat a tourist. And they helped my mother explore Gangtok, and I explored Gangtok. We were right next to the mall road called the Mahatma Gandhi Mark, MG Mark, and it was a huge mall road like Shimla. It wasn't as clean as Shimla, but it was huge, it was big, there were nice shops. The food quality wasn't that good. I mean, from the restaurants we ate in, it wasn't really that good. But some restaurants like Agarwal's was good. But our hotel offered the highest standard and best type of food. And the restaurant was amazing. They also had many fishes which were really cute to look at. And the food they offered was really delicious and good. Like their sauteed vegetables, they were just genius. They were beautiful. And the portions were just enough. Everything was just enough. We loved it. And the Sikkimese people are really nice people, like the people of Gangtok. We haven't been to other parts of Sikkim, but Gangtok's locals are really friendly people. You will love talking with them. Very elegant, and Gangtok is a very diverse place. You will find local Sikkimese, you'll find Indians, all sorts of people. very beautiful place. And Sikkim has a very beautiful history. You can visit the Enche Monastery, which is one of the, I think, the most important monasteries in the country. One of the many important monasteries. And they teach you about the Buddhist and Sikkimese culture, and it is just beautiful. Now the taxi drivers there aren't perfect. They split everywhere and drive a bit harshly, but I mean, given they're so kind, I tend to accept it. I don't really care. So, okay, let's check. We explored Gangtok, and in Gangtok we also explored like the streets of Gangtok, and we also explored the Gangtok ropeway. And being in the ropeway, let me just check the time, was really beautiful. Like in the Gangtok ropeway, it felt that you were completely in the sky and in the clouds. Like you were all flying high in the clouds, in the sky, you were in heaven, and you could see the mountains here and there, the clouds going up. It was heaven on earth. Like I tell you, it was the most beautiful shit I've seen, and I love it every bit more. Now, Gangtok unfortunately has a huge problem when it's not connected by railway, and trains are a really efficient way of transporting people when it comes to short distances in India. Or long distances, they absolutely suck. But short distance trains, they're good. And I'm making this really clear. The Vande Bharat, the Shatabdi, these trains are amazing. When coming back, I'll also share that too, but or train back home. A trip. We are now going to end our Gangtok trip with like this last trip. We're going to go to Nathula Pass, Songmo Lake, and Baba Harbhajan Singh Temple, which are all 10,000 feet above sea level. And you need permits for these. Nathula Pass is at 14,000 feet above sea level. Songmo Lake is 12,000 feet above sea level, and I think 12,000 feet above sea level, and Harbhajan Singh Temple is at 11,000 feet above sea level. The taxi that took us there was a shared taxi. We had to go to a specific area to wait for the taxi to come. And a specific number, and apparently our agency kind of misled us. So our taxi driver is taking us to the origin station actually helped us reach the correct one. They gave us the wrong information. The taxi, there's a big problem caused by traveling from a low altitude area or like a middle moderate altitude area to a high altitude area at rapid speed. If you travel very quickly from point A at 5,000 feet above sea level to point B at 14,000 feet, your body is not going to be able to adapt. And our taxi was zooming its way up, like without letting our bodies get used to the situation. Like the taxi zoomed such a fast speed, and once we reached the location, like my body wasn't able to adapt, and I suffered from high altitude mountain sickness. I think altitude mountain sickness is called, but yeah, high altitude mountain sickness is just like your heart feels really weird, your brain feels weird, you're gonna faint, you might puke, you just don't feel really well. It's a horrible feeling, and I thought I was gonna die. Even then, I don't want to experience that feeling again. At Nathula Pass, the people, they didn't want you to take a picture of the other country, China's border and all that stuff, and the soldiers, but people kept doing it anyways, and ultimately it was just sad to watch. But yeah, people weren't respecting the borders. They didn't cross them, which is good, but they weren't respecting them either. I feel bad for the soldiers, obviously the tourists. We went to Harbhajan Singh Temple, and that's where I started feeling even more sick, and it was difficult for me to visit the temple. Someone also puked because of high altitude mountain sickness, and we had to avoid it. And then we went to locals will tell you more about him. Yeah. I went to Songmo Lake, but I was really, really sick, and I wasn't able to really explore the lake because I was feeling really sick, and I felt like I had to visit the doctor. But because you see, there's a big problem with India where tourists are repeatedly scammed, taken advantage of, and looted. People will steal as much as money from you as possible if you're a tourist. They do not respect your rights as a human being, as a tourist, and they engage in practices which are extremely dehumanizing to us. Something which has been traumatic for both me and my mother. It's caused us this dehumanizing tactic of taxi drivers, and all these people have caused us psychological harm, which will worsen as we get to Darjeeling. Trust me, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. So as we went to Darjeeling, well, Gangtok was still a good place. Darjeeling doesn't just suck, it's the worst place we've ever been to. Something I've unfortunately seen kind of like with Siliguri and Darjeeling. I don't know about Calcutta, but people said city's also very, very filthy. So they also warn me Calcutta's very filthy, and yeah, they also tell me Calcutta's very filthy. So we don't know much about West Bengal, but from as much as we've seen, it's not a very clean place. Now, good hygiene leads to good reputation, but there wasn't good hygiene. The station for New Jalpaiguri was very unclean. People were fighting a lot and being aggressive. And in Darjeeling, it wasn't any different. People there were fighting and being really aggressive. The taxi drivers there were looting and scamming money from us and overcharging for even the shortest ass distance. Everyone was stealing, and it felt really dehumanizing. And we just gave up. So the first thing when we came to Darjeeling was we tried the toy train joyride out. It takes you to a place called Batasia Loop, which is one of the railway loops where the train loops around the track and climbs up like the mountain. It had a memorial dedicated to the Gorkha regiment. I think they're local to Darjeeling. I'm not sure because we saw Gorkha land sign there when we were initially going to Darjeeling. So I think there's a connection between Darjeeling and the Gorkha regiment and the Gorkhas. Because from the videos we've seen, like the videos of Darjeeling I've seen, it's the big Gorkha population. I think Sikkim is a Darjeeling is a diverse population. Sikkim, Darjeeling has a population of Gorkhas, I think Bengalis, I think some people that are outside of Bengal, and yeah. You will find Hindus, I think Christians, Buddhists there. So it's a very multicultural city. It's a very multicultural place. That's if you do like multiculturalism, Darjeeling is a very multicultural place. You will find many ethnic groups, and many of these people have their own unique cultures, which you can interact with. Now, I'm going to mention the main problems here in Darjeeling. First of all, there's a huge problem of overcrowding due to number one, the high population of people, and the really small roads. They're like the roads of Japan, only much more cramped, much more overcrowded, and not even maintained, even 1%. They're 0% maintained. Furthermore, the drivers, especially the taxi drivers, are really, really uncivilized. They have a very simple job just to drive from point A to point B, but they kind of make it really difficult to do. They really make it really overcomplicate things. So they have been very disrespectful to me and my mother, and one of them even almost committed a crime against me, which I will talk about later. But once you were crossing the street, and my mother, his taxi driver, she told him to stop, and that thank you, and then thumbs up. She was like, thanks for waiting for me, and thumbs up. The taxi driver, do you know how he responded? How you respond to a woman who is so kind to you that she tells you to please wait and thank you, you're awesome. Do you honk aggressively and yell profanities at her? As I said earlier, a mother is a god. And if you dare insult a mother, if you dare have the guts to insult a mom, then you are the lowest type of man ever possible. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, but if you have no respect for mothers, then God will send you to hell. I'm sorry, I just got really angry there, but it is my little warning to these taxi drivers is you have to learn to respect women, okay? You can't treat them like objects. Good. Sorry, just as I said, I'm still traumatized by seeing people treat my mom like shit. And it really makes me angry because I love my mother. And we Indians have a very family-based culture. We love our families and we don't want anyone to hurt them. Some of our worst insults usually target our families. And it hurts to hear them. So yeah. One of the things we decided to do with Darjeeling was, I think, talk to you about a bit of our culture so I think you understand this somewhat. In Darjeeling, we decided to check out the Darjeeling toy train joyride. I talked about this earlier. It was really fun. The next thing we did was we decided to visit Padmanadu Zoological Park, which is a very high altitude zoo. And the taxi driver who took us there was overcharging us way too much. I just want to he overcharged us, and for a very small trip, scammed us into thinking scammed us with the idea we'd visit 3 places and stole all of our money. And the zoo was very nice, of course. There were lots of cute animals, especially those that are also endangered, and the zoo also works in conserving red pandas, but it's not very nice when people scam you, you know. It was nice, but I mean, the taxi drivers, you have to avoid them. And we think that something is really, really up with them. Like something terribly evil is up with them. They have something very evil going on with them. And I'll talk about this a bit later as we go on to our last part. And after this, I will talk about the hotel bit to give you guys a positive part. Because for the taxi drivers, I also do have some advice. In Civilized Resort, I also have some advice too. I'm now going to get into this part. For the taxi drivers, first, you need to respect your tourists more. You have to stop dehumanizing us, and you have to start seeing us as human beings. You have to learn to drive more carefully, drive with more respect, and stop engaging in stop disrespecting people just because you think you own the road. You have to learn to respect. I respect everyone around me, okay? I respect everyone. Why am I and I know you, foreign tourists and other tourists, also respect everyone around you too. But these taxi drivers said they're ungrateful people. And I need to warn you about these people so you can be safe from them. Because they are the bulk of what ruined our trip. And I need you guys to know that I'm not really happy with the behavior. So, with Central Heritage Resort, if you can offer a high level of hygiene standards, maintenance standards, if you can also be more cooperative with Agoda and everyone else in your percentage and your, the people to your hotel, if you can respect people more and stop dehumanizing them, like your staff respect us and do not dehumanize us, we will have a lot more of a positive opinion of your hotel. But please learn to respect people. Now, I think I've also offered some constructive criticism. And now I'm going to get on to our last part of the trip. We decided to stay at our hotel, and one day we decided to visit the Japanese Peace Pagoda. So while we were going to it was a straight walk from our hotel, straight up to the top. So we started to get on our way and start walking to Japanese Pagoda. And sadly, this local taxi driver, I won't get into any more details about what type. He's a kind of white local taxi driver wearing a red shirt. He was driving extremely rashly, really, really violently. The way he was driving, he was going to kill me. If he continued, I would have died. So I frowned at him and I told him to stop right there. I did this and I stopped. This and I stopped. This I stopped. I stopped. This I stopped. This I stopped. Yeah, I'm actually getting a bit nervous because I can't be nervous on camera. Yeah, so sorry, I did this. So yeah, this taxi driver is really giving me nightmares. So he starts aggressively honking at us. And I ignore him. I'm like, does he have any morals? He tried to kill me, now he's honking aggressively. I also noticed that the mountains were really beautiful. I said I'd take a picture of them. And he thought I was taking a video of him, but I wasn't. I just took a picture of myself, and I told him to stop like this. He just got a bit nervous. Everything I'm showing you in this video is genuinely learning. Everything I've told you is 1000% is happening to me. And I kid you not, I'm not lying. So we went to Japanese Pagoda, and it was a nice place. You have to take your shoes off at the top, and there are these like wooden carvings of events with Lord Buddha, and they're very beautiful to watch. They're very pretty. There's like on the side these images of Lord Buddha and all these important parts of Buddhist history, and it was nice to look at. So we kind of had our fun. It got really boring, and I said I head back. But little did we know that things were going to go really, really downhill. And not in the literal sense, in the metaphorical sense. So at a one stop was a shop. And at that shop was the same taxi driver who wore a red shirt, who was a local. And you know what he did? He went up to me, grabbed my shirt like this, and started threatening me with physical violence. And like he was going to end my life. He was like this. And he threatened, were you trying to make a video of me? Were you trying to make me viral? And then he wanted to check my phone. I gave him my phone, and he did not see he did not see any video. He believed I deleted it, but I clearly did not. I was just taking a selfie of myself, and I didn't make any video of him. But he was so delusional. He then asked me, were you trying to show me the middle finger? Were you trying to show me the middle finger? And then I'm going to rip your head off. I'm going to rip your head off. I'm going to beat you shitless. I will do things that are so horrible you can't imagine. He was threatening us with our life, and my mom we were scared, okay? We were scared, but I was angry, okay? I was angry. How dare you come up, you accuse me of showing me the middle finger when I did nothing but tell you to stop in front of you. And he was carrying a knife with him. He had a second person who was the accomplice in helping him kill me. He had carried another person to physically end my life with. And this local man, this red shirt wearing, kind of wild looking, weird man, obviously he was a taxi driver, and civilized, barbaric one. He ultimately, I was able to save myself from him, and I kept saying, I told him that you dare not, like, how dare you try to end someone's life over a clear delusion, because he was a very delusional man. He thought he wanted to clearly he clearly was a threat to my life. And I was able to calmly detach myself from the situation, walk away, but it was terrifying. Because the same man had been allegedly patrolling the roads searching for me, even after I left him and I walked away. We stayed at our hotel, and we safely got to the station, Darjeeling railway station, and the toy train. But that taxi driver, he was a barbarian. He really was going to do terrible things to my life, and because of him, I have nightmares. I feel more angrier, and thirdly, I do not see his kind positively. I have a negative image of his kind, and what he did was that he made his local community, and as such his type of people, look bad. This negative impression of his people can be very fatal, and my advice for taxi drivers is also, as I said, not just respect people. You might represent your local community, and you need to make your local community look good. But I did not get a good image of his local community, and me and my mother worried if in Darjeeling there was a thug rule, and that the police officers also were thugs that could take the side of the local taxi driver and harm us. Hence, we needed to get out of there. Now, I've also expressed you some advice. I've given you some advice. You represent your kind, and you do not want to make your kind look bad. As Indians, we have the duty to be as civilized and as human as possible, because we represent our country in our groups. when we do these inappropriate things like threaten people with violence and be delusional, we make our people look bad, and people will have a negative image of Indians. Because people have this negative image of Indians, people might do dangerous things to us. Like people like me. They will look at me and they will use the PJ slur on me. They will use ethnic slurs against me. And do you think I'm happy with that? Do you think I want to hear an ethnic slur? No, I don't want to hear an ethnic slur. Just because I'm Indian means you're going to insult me. That's hate speech. And I don't tolerate hate speech. There's no hate speech allowed on Passport Advance's YouTube channel. But when you act wrongly, you make people hate you. You make people hate your kind. So you need to learn to respect people. You have to learn to be careful with other people. This is advice that I'm offering to you guys as Passport Advance. I'm trying to help you guys be better human beings so you can enjoy your life. But a taxi driver, we won't forget. Hopefully he won't hunt me down. But yeah. He really made us not like his. He really caused like enmity, which is not something you should do. Now let's end this video with the toy train, because man is it terrible. There were insects everywhere, here and there, insect here, insect there, up, down. The toy train was extremely cramped and there was no seat for our luggage nor for us. We had to move here and there and everyone was sitting everywhere. There was no space, no room to breathe, and it was claustrophobic as hell. It is, and the toy train stops here and there, it's delayed, it's just really difficult to calm down there. And even if it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the track sucked, the train sucked. It was such a terrible experience. I can't even describe how terrible the Darjeeling Himalayan Railway is. My mom, we had some tourists from Agra who came to visit. They were like, never more are we going to visit this place again. Never more will we visit this tour, because there's no word that can express how horrible, how terrible, how disgusting Darjeeling and its Himalayan toy train are. Shimla has a much better toy train and a narrow gauge railway. Darjeeling Himalayan narrow gauge railway is only 2 foot narrow gauge, but the Kalka Shimla railway is much better, has toilets, has seats, has places, has tables, places for you to, put your luggage. Shimla is extremely clean, people are better. Like, Shimla is in every way an improvement over Darjeeling. If Darjeeling is down here, Shimla is up here. So, anyways, would I recommend you guys visit India? No. And to domestic tourists, you need to get out, man. There are much more developed countries, much better, much more humane people. You're wasting your life in India. I told you guys in my last video that I'm going to start focusing on Japanese trains and Minecraft trains. Well, guess what? I'm serious, and I don't want you guys to, suffer the fate we did. So currently I'm now going to upload this video, and yeah. And I hope you guys have, I did my best to be as legally acceptable as follow the YouTube community guidelines and offer you guys some advice. And just remember, mothers are God love and peace, and enjoy your trip. Namaste. I'm Passport Advance, and I hope I'm gonna sign out. Profisto.